Good morning, everyone. I didn't wake up in time for the sunrise this morning. I still got to do a few chores. Now we have something unusual for out here. We have clouds in the sky. So, birds are still singing while I am checking the goats' water and getting the garden watered. Figured I'd let you see a little bit of the morning desert sky with clouds. Can't even see the sun. So maybe some of y'all who have been getting so much rain are being successful in sending some of that our direction. Maybe we will get our monsoons this year. I hope so. So enjoy the lovely clouds while I go get my watering started. just pulled these. There's the camera. I pulled these off of the little baby lavender plant that I put out here. So now they're dry, right on the stalk, because of, transplant shock and all that good stuff. But they will make a lovely decoration. Now, as I'm looking at this, the Thai basil is recovering from its transplant shock, doing well. If I go down here underneath all this mulch, it's good and damp underneath. Now this is with me, and this morning I didn't water this one because it is so damp. But I've only been watering 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. Micah's little pink flower is not going to make a comeback from its transplant shock, but the yellow one is, and the orange one never really went into shock, but the yellow one is starting to get some good leaves there. And again, underneath all this mulch, you can see the soil is good and damp. Morning. It's okay, girls. It's okay. Up here, this was the trickier spot because I was doing it in between rocks, so this will grow down, make a nice rock garden. Scoot some of this mulch back up. But it's still good and wet under the mulch here as well. The mulch is just wanting to slide down the rocks. Part of that is from me watering. But yeah, as you can see there, it's starting to come back from its transplant shock. And of course, the tree is a native. It never went into shock. I don't water that, but it does get a little bit from me watering other things. I wasn't sure that this straight neck squash plant was going to make it because I wasn't sure I did a good job separating the roots. It and the other squash were root bound together, but both are doing lovely. The sage is finally recovering from the wind and those windstorms a few weeks back. This is cantaloupe, I believe. Yeah, Hale's Best Jumbo cantaloupes. I got that because my mother loves cantaloupe. The tomatoes are all doing well. And, okay, so I was not being as wise as some of the other tomato folks. I could not stand to separate where it did 3 trunks there. I need to do one more rope here. But all 3 branches, by the time I realized I was doing that, all 3 had flowers on it. And me, I was not being a good tomato mama. I did not separate them. So I think it was leaves to separate out. Now those leaves are tangled together. Oh, it's cutting that rope. Okay. I need to go through here and thin out some more leaves. But it's going to have lots of tomatoes. I gotta figure out how to put a 3rd string coming this direction. And that's the one that I thought I'd lost. These are sun sugars. And Super Marzanos are doing well. And then I'm forgetting again the name on these. There's 2 there and one over here. But it is a heat tolerant tomato. Just getting and one of the 2 spaghetti squash that were in that pot made it, and I think the other one may be coming back. I thought I'd lost that one due to whatever critters keep coming out here and digging up my new transplants while I'm at work. Not sure what this is. I'll leave it and see. It's not grass. One of the things about this mulch that we're getting from where it's got cigarette butts in it. Has no herbicides and no pesticides, but it has cigarette butts. I can pick out the cigarette butts. Now, where we have this little row of rocks and this little row of rocks, Micah put seeds last weekend. And she used those pretty red rocks that also came in the mulch to mark where she planted her seeds. And I'm blanking right now what she put there. Watermelon and honeydews, I believe. There's another. Oh, this one was actually a surprise melon or a surprise squash. It was marked or it was sitting with the spaghetti squash, but the marker that was in it did not have a name, just a scanning number. And these other 3 I have here, I'm not sure what type they are either. I've been doing such a bad job this year of marking things. But these are ones that I transplanted from the other garden bed, the driveway garden bed, because where I thought that my squash were not coming up, I replanted, and then everything came up. So I'm not sure if these are cushaws or patty pans, but whichever. And then when I got home yesterday, whatever it is that comes over here and digs up my new transplants had been busy. So this morning I've put this screen on here. If it's one of the chickens that's coming over here, that should keep them out. If it's something else, hopefully that will deter it as well. Because I am determined we are going to succeed at this sweet potato greens experiment. And I need to get more sweet potato slips so I can have some to actually grow to eat. And the little red hibiscus is recovering from its transplant shock. This one, I've got to go look it up. Hibiscus rosa sinensis. I need to look it up to see how tall it's supposed to get. Because it did not, well, on this it said 18 inches. I've never seen a hibiscus that was only 18 inches. Plant in a location that receives at least 6 hours of sun. I planted it in a location that will get afternoon shade. I put it just to the east of Micah's little Chinaberry grove. And those trees are growing great guns thanks to the daily watering. Our little fairy garden is looking lovely. I do need to get out here, I think, with a scythe and trim the grass a bit. Because it is growing crazily. And not all the grass is growing in here is from the sod grass. We have some of the other grass coming up where the edges of the sod grass came together thanks to all the watering. So I'll just come out here as needed and pull it. I don't worry about all of that. Some of that is the sod grass, so it's nice and soft. And I'll go along. There's some along that edge as well. I'll do that. And another trip out here. I love these. These are not leaving. The bees and the butterflies love them. And when they're all spent, I can feed extra to the goats. So it's very nutritious for the goats. Now this particular globe mallow has now, all the orange flowers are spent. And it now has these. If I can get a good shot. These lovely little seed pods developing. I do have several others that still have the orange flowers. And by the time those are all spent, then there should be other sources of food out here for all of the bees and the butterflies. Oh, and my pair of quail are back. Let's see if I can zoom into the. Oh, it's blurred. I'll pause for just a second, see if I can clean the. I thought I had scared them away with me being out here and rearranging everything. I'm not sure how well you can see them. I'm gonna have to get one of those little lens covers and zooms. Oops. Oh, they went behind a bush. They are looking all fat and sassy. Little gamble quail. Yeah, they went behind that post. But things are looking good. Oh, and the one thing that I wanted to be sure to show you on this squash that I wasn't sure was going to survive me separating it. I have a baby straight neck. Yay. It's the little things that make me happy. And the salvia is looking lovely. So with the salvia and the other things that we're planting out here, the bees and the butterflies will continue to have something. So this still has plenty of orange buds. Let me pull this out from under the water hose so it can perk up. I'll have to put some stones around that to help it stay confined and perk up. This is why I'm working the mulch. So there's another cigarette butt. The mulch that he brings, I'm working around in my paths as well as on the beds. Toss this over with my pile of cigarette butts. I'll have to bring me a small trash can out here. As this grows more and more, this space right here where that chair sits will eventually be my little prayer space, prayer and meditation. I've got a couple of people looking for one of those curved concrete benches that somebody's getting rid of. If somebody's just got the, they've broken the bottom and just have the top that they're getting rid of or whatever. And then this post I keep hidden with the bucket so that I don't worry so much about Micah running into it. She can see it better. I saw a video using a couple of Dollar Tree flower pots and a piece of wood to make a table. I just may do that with this. Get a couple of those flower pots to make the table stand and then cover that post with it. That would have a nice little table here for what I'm sitting and contemplating and talking to the Lord. Just looking to make sure there's no little stems that need to trim. Micah has been watching that for me. I'm trimming them as she goes so that we don't have so many to worry about. And this, here on the inside where it gets more shade, it's more orange. The outside turns a deeper color. See, this is more red than orange. But this was not so much taller than me. Now I can look straight up and I have got no limbs hitting me in the head. And I have this canopy. It's part of the reason that a lot of people call these umbrella trees. Let me see. I need to tighten that up some more to straighten this. As I'm going with this, every so often I come out here and tighten up those ropes to straighten it more. I don't know if you remember in previous videos, it was way down here below where it's at. So we've gotten it up this high and slowly raise it a little bit more. We'll probably take this up at least another 2 inches. As a matter of fact, I think I'll go ahead and do that. And have that. Oh, yeah, if I just do the one side of the string, then I'll pull this over this direction and give it a little bit more shade on this side. I'll pause it and do that. There we go. And I took up all the slack so it can straighten up a little bit more as it's growing. I'm using the hay twine. It's a wonderful way because this is not going to bind up the trunk, and I can loosen it as needed or tighten it. Now I know that it's getting late. I overslept this morning. Actually woke up too many times during the middle of the night and then overslept. But things are looking lovely. The Lord has blessed us with this piece of property and with a friend to bring us the mulch so that we can care for this space and turn it into a wonderful spiritual space. Let me zoom in. Those 2 Gamble quail are sitting up where I usually have my phone. I wonder if that's why my phone got knocked over the other day. And the female is looking all fat and sassy because she's getting ready to make a nest and lay some eggs. If you can see them very well, the male, so it has a bit of red on his head. The female also has the top knot but no red and slightly lighter coloring of her gray. He's a deeper gray. She's more of a ground color for hiding on the eggs. And they are one of the reasons I've been doing the brush pile at the back of the garden, hoping to give them more space. Everyone be well. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We're nearly halfway through the work week. Be blessed.